back to another week of Raised on Sports. It feels like we haven't recorded in a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
But I've been home for the last 3 weeks-ish, and I'm just about ready to go back to school. But a lot has happened since being home. How was New Year's, Christmas?
Yes.
All the things.
I know. It's been a fun 2 weeks here with you home and your older sister home as well. Christmas was great. It was just so nice to be all together, family. Made a little trip up north to San Luis Obispo. So that was a lot of fun. And then just some nice downtime, I think, is what we all desperately needed. So
I know. I had a lot of downtime and a lot of relaxing, a lot of scrolling on TikTok, which is probably not good. But once I go back to school, it's going to be crazy hectic. My second to last semester.
I know, crazy.
At Clemson.
Crazy. Heading back in a couple days.
So
for
that's
spring semester.
weird. I know, but we have a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we have, of course, we'll lead it off with college football because it's what everybody's talking about right now.
Yep. So, yeah, let's just kick it off.
Yeah, we are now into the semifinals of the college football playoff scenario. So I think a lot has been talked about the teams, the actual games, how they've been played. But I think the number one thing we can talk about is this being a brand new format, a new structure for college football. What do you think about the playoff structure so far?
I think I love the 12-team playoff. I don't think this should be going away anytime soon, but definitely the structure and the way the seeding should be changed and kind of for next year. But it was just very clear when the first round of the playoffs, every team that lost, except Clemson, I'm just putting it out there, but every team that lost by a lot.
Yes.
And it was kind of a blowout. It was very boring games. I'm trying to think who lost. Indiana lost. SMU lost by a lot. What was the other team?
Ohio State beat
Tennessee. Ohio State beat Tennessee by a lot. Yep. Clemson was the only team that they started to lose by a lot, but they kind of came back. But it still was a hard game to watch. So it's just interesting to see that how it was all seeded, and also going into the next round, all the teams that had the bye, all lost.
Yeah, so that's probably the most surprising, and I don't really think it's because of rest. A lot of people are saying that those 4 teams that got the extra week of rest, maybe they weren't as fresh. I don't think it's that. I think it was more.
They have 1 more week to practice.
It was more about the matchup. So I definitely think they got the correct teams in, however, because watching some of those other bowl games, Miami was talked about. They got absolutely destroyed in their bowl game.
Who did they play again? Because I didn't see that bowl game.
They got destroyed. The Cam Ward didn't even play in the second half. And same with Alabama. Alabama should have been in, and they got destroyed by Michigan.
Yeah.
So I think the teams that got in were correct, but maybe there's going to be a lot of talk about the rankings, and you go in according to your rankings, not necessarily if you win your championship, you get the bye. So,
I agree, and I think the top 4 are very valid.
Yes.
I think I'm surprised about the domination of Ohio State over Oregon, just because of how good Oregon's playing. Everyone expected Oregon to win the national championship, and I think they kind of had the hardest route to win, but they were undefeated all of and they beat Ohio State.
They beat Ohio State earlier. So, I think maybe what could resolve all this is if you go to 16 teams, but nobody gets a bye. So the top 8 all get to play a home game.
Yeah.
And then everybody's playing in the next round, and everybody's playing in the, so there's really no teams that are sitting waiting for an extra week.
Or just go to 8 teams.
Or go to 8 teams. Yeah.
I feel like when it goes to 16 teams, then it's like not as hard.
It could be.
Not as hard, but like I feel like when it was the 4-team playoff, it was just scrapping
to get in
for the last spot. Like you can't lose one game, or maybe one game to get in the playoffs. So I think if you expand it to 16, that And I don't know. It kind of loses its value.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what college football does in the offseason, but doesn't take away from how fantastic it's been right now. And we have 2 amazing semifinal games coming up.
Yep.
On Thursday, you have Penn State and Notre Dame down in the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Yep.
And then Friday night, we have the Cotton Bowl, Ohio State, Texas. Yeah.
I think both these are going to be really good games, and we'll make our picks a little bit later in this podcast, but they're good matchups. I thought Notre Dame played very, very well against Georgia.
Yes.
I love Marcus Freeman. We just watched that last night.
Good job, coach.
Yeah, he made the team play well.
Yes.
I think it wasn't even their best game.
Yes.
But I thought the coaching was great.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia just couldn't keep up. Texas beat Arizona State, which a crazy ending. Let's talk about the lawsuit that we're seeing.
Yeah, a lot of talk off field about Arizona State and the field goal and the late hit as well. So I don't think anything's going to come out of it as far as changing the results, but it is very unfortunate for Arizona State to lose on, I guess, on some kind of controversy that really they have a nice case for.
And Arizona State's never in the playoffs.
No.
This is like a once in a lifetime thing. And they got one game against Texas, and they came back like no other, made it to overtime, but it should have never gone into overtime because of this field goal kick.
Blocked field goal that bounced in.
Have you ever seen that?
I've never seen that before. No.
Who would have thought that would be a valid field goal? But it's in the rules.
Yeah.
In the rule book.
If the ball is blocked and it still happens to bounce and go in, it still counts. So Arizona State should be given 3 points on that fourth quarter, and who knows, maybe never went to overtime.
Oh, it's crazy, but you obviously can't go back. You were saying it is the college football committee that ultimately has the decision to put Arizona State forward, but I doubt they would do that. You'd make a lot of strong Texas fans mad, and you can't really go back. But that is quite the controversy right now. That's all over my social media.
I know. It's going to be talked about for sure. But nonetheless, we have 4 amazing teams in the semifinals, and excited. Can't wait. Love it.
I know. And I like how there's more games in the playoffs.
Yes, right? There's more games. We're not just done.
3 games. Right? Yeah. So it keeps going. It does make the college football season longer. It gives us more to talk about. But I bet they're tired.
Yes.
It's been a long season. So I'm excited to see who makes it to the national championship.
Can't wait.
Yep.
Also on tap is the NFL. The NFL is really heating up right now as well.
Yeah.
We have the last week of the regular season coming up. So that's really exciting.
Let's talk about your fantasy team.
Yeah, my fantasy team did not do well this year, let's just say. I was bitten by the injury bug early. But nonetheless, I have come in last place, and I will own it. So I will let my league choose my punishment, and I will carry it strongly.
I remember I don't know whose league it is, but one of my friends, they have to stand on a corner in a Speedo and have a huge sign that says, "I suck at fantasy football." On a major street. It was on Oso and Antonio. I saw
one out there as well where someone was, you have to run a lemonade stand on the street corner, and you can't quit until you make $100.
Wait, that's really funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wait, that's kind of cute though.
Yeah, right.
Or have you heard of the cage?
I've heard of the cage before. There's been a lot of punishments. Thankfully, the league that I am has some distinguished fine gentlemen in it, and our punishments aren't severe.
You're not being put in a cage.
We're not being humiliated now, so we have a great league. So
yeah,
it is funny though to hear of all the fantasy football talk, and especially in our family, that the only one who actually did make their championship game is our youngest and your youngest sister, Irish. How about that?
And she has no idea what's going on.
And she has no idea.
You're doing it.
I am doing a lot of the work, and but nonetheless, it's her team, and she couldn't even tell you who's on it. But she is in the finals, and then she's looking good to win the thing.
Okay.
So,
in her little ASB fantasy football league.
Fantasy league.
So go Irish.
Shout out to her.
But We got people in the last playoff spot for the AFC. What is it?
Denver, Miami, and Cincinnati fighting for the final spot.
Who do you think?
I think Denver has the home game, so they're playing Kansas City at home.
Yeah.
And Kansas City's already said they're going to rest Mahomes and some of the other starters. So, I mean, it should be Denver's for the taking. They get a home game, last game, everything on the line. So,
yeah.
But it is against Kansas City, so who knows?
They are a good team despite Mahomes being hurt. They're not hurt.
And then both Miami and Cincy have to win and hope Denver loses. So.
Okay. I mean, you never know.
Yeah,
but
you never know.
The Broncos are going to win.
I think so too.
That doesn't really matter to me.
And then in the NFC South, you have Atlanta and Tampa Bay fighting for the division and the playoff spot. So,
who do you got winning the whole thing?
I don't know. Right now, Super Bowl's pretty early to tell. I'm loving how the Detroit Lions are playing. I love the Eagles, but I tell you what, you just can't knock out the Kansas City Chiefs. Two-time,
I know,
looking to three-peat. Everybody seems to just overlook them, and yet here they are, the best record. They're going to have home field advantage all the way to the end. So,
and you know what's another good team we're looking at, and they have some fun dances. The
Minnesota
Vikings.
There's the talk. Have you guys been seeing this?
The Vikings, first of all, are great this year.
They're very good.
They're a very good team in general.
Yep.
And the dances every time they get an interception.
Yes.
The safeties.
Yes. So the
what's his name?
Defensive backs. I don't know the name. Defensive backs are leading this craze and coming up with routine choreographed dances.
And they are going
viral. They're mimicking a lot of the current movies or even old movies.
Like childhood, like they did High School Musical, they did The Parent Trap, The White Chicks, Little Dance.
Yes.
What else? Oh, Camp Rock. They did.
Yep.
And it's almost like when you see it, you're like, oh, I know that. What is that from? Like, I know that dance. I've seen that before. And
they did the one. He did the one where he mimicked the Australian.
The breakdancer.
Breakdancer, hip hop girl.
That was so funny, and I love watching the behind the scenes of them in the hotel room practicing, or like watching it on their phone and like trying it out and like fail. It's so good. It's definitely adding some liveliness to. Especially the defense. I love all like the people who get touchdowns, they're all doing their own dances. But like when a defense gets an interception, like going down to the end zone and doing their little dance, I think is really fun.
Love it.
Switching things up for the NFL.
What do you think? Think we can come up with a little something?
I think I need to teach you the Parent Trap handshake.
I'm on it.
All right, perfect.
And then that kind of just takes us to picks. How about we make some picks? We only have, we're going to stick with college football. We have our 2 semifinal games coming up next week. So we probably won't podcast until after that. So let's go ahead and let's get our official picks on the record. First game, Thursday, Penn State, Notre Dame.
I am just going to kick it off and say, not because I'm a huge fan and you're a huge fan, I think Notre Dame is going to take this one. Throughout the entire season, I keep underestimating Penn State. I keep saying, oh, I don't think Penn State's that good. They just have an easy schedule. But clearly throughout this playoff bracket, they've been playing good. They beat SMU by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They beat
Boise
by a lot and really outrun even Ashton Genty. So I think they're a great team. I think this would be a good game. But seeing how Notre Dame played against Georgia, and I think people are underestimating Notre Dame a lot and thought Georgia would win. I'm picking Notre Dame. I think they're the better team, but I want to see a good game.
Love it. Yes, I agree completely with everything you're saying as far as what Penn State brings. I think they bring a different brand of physical football, so I think that'll be on showcase for them. But I just think it's something different with Notre Dame this year. Something is clicking. Marcus Freeman is dialed in. He has flat out coached every single opponent they've faced. And the team is just playing well. They're together. They're playing well. So, yes, of course, the heart will pick Notre Dame, but I really think Notre Dame is going to win this game based on just being a more well-balanced team. I do want to say, though, that the injury to Jeremiah Love, that could bring up a little bit of concern. So hopefully he is healthy in a week and ready to go. But I will pick Notre Dame as well.
All right. We're on the same on that. I don't know what our record is.
I know. We'll update it all when it's all said and done.
It's all over. Yeah. I think I kind of caught up to you a little bit.
Maybe. I don't think so.
Okay.
Texas, Ohio State, Friday night, Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
In Dallas. I actually would want to clip back from the first episode of Raised on Sports when I said, I think Ohio State's going to win this whole thing.
Ooh,
and then I kind of retracted my thoughts when Ohio State lost to Oregon and lost to Michigan. I was like, maybe they're not going to win this whole thing. Because there was a point in time where I didn't even think they were going to make the playoffs.
True.
So the fact that they are in the semifinals now against Texas, they are a good team.
Yes.
As much as I don't want to admit it, and I know you're not a huge Ohio State fan, they are a really good team. And to see Clemson kind of creep up on Texas, to see ASU fully creep up on Texas and have a comeback, I don't think Texas can do the same to Ohio State. Ohio State's a better team. They should win. Are you agreeing?
Is that your pick?
Ohio State?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think Texas?
I think if Ohio State plays like the first half against Oregon, nobody in the nation can beat them. The way they played, and they came out in that Oregon game, were clicking on offense, dialed in on defense. I think any other team in America would struggle against them. So the way they are playing right now, the momentum, Coach Day has them rolling right now as well. And I said at the beginning, too, I thought Ohio State was going to be a very, very good team this year. As much as I would like to pick Texas, I've picked against Ohio State pretty much all year long. So maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick Ohio State this year.
Hoping they lose.
Hoping that they lose. So my official pick will be Ohio State. Notre Dame in the championship.
What a championship.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Where would that be?
Georgia.
Okay, and that's not till January.
That'll be another week after, yeah. So
that would be a good game.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know. We'll get to those picks when we get to them.
All right, so we're going to be the same. Looks like we're the same on the semifinals, huh?
Yep.
Notre Dame and Ohio State. Okay.
Hey, wait. Okay. Week 14, I was 4-2. You were 3-3.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know how long ago week 14 was, though? Oh. Lots of time ago.
We haven't updated in a while.
All right. Well, that kind of brings us to the end of our little podcast here for our New Year's edition. So, do you have any New Year's resolutions this year in 2025? My beautiful daughter.
It's weird that it's 2025 just to begin with. This is the year that I'm graduating college. Oh. This is the year that Irish is probably going to get into a college. Oh, yeah. This is the year I turn 21. It's just a lot is going on this year. It's a huge year.
It's going to be a big exciting year.
And I'm excited for it. My New Year's resolutions is kind of just to keep doing what I'm doing.
Good. And you're doing a good job, though.
Getting settled into who I am and who I want to be. Good. A huge one that I want is to find my passions. This is like getting deep. Nice. But like going into, I'm not going to really be out of Clemson until next year. But finding what I really like to do, finding things that make me happy outside of my career-driven mindset, like little hobbies, workouts I like to do, even like restaurants I like to go, just like finding my passions. So when I go into post-grad, like I can continue that, like, because I've heard that's not the most exciting time, like right after post-grad. So just keeping myself happy. And what about you?
Ditto. Keep myself happy and busy, and keep podcasting. I'm loving this, and I love that we are reaching out to a small amount of people. Hopefully it'll grow in 2025. But hopefully just keep reaching out and giving some insight and showing our relationship and showing everybody our vast knowledge of sports.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm excited to keep doing this podcast, and we have March Madness coming up. So,
we do.
That's a huge. We
will transition from football to basketball real soon here.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I got to start bringing in hockey.
Yes.
My newfound
new passion
love and passion for hockey. We got to start bringing it in.
All right. Maybe we'll just have a personal hockey segment here.
Perfect. We'll add it to the list.
Sounds good.
All right. That's all we got.
It's been fun, Ray.
Yeah. Happy New Year to everyone who's watching. And we'll see you next week. This is Raised on Sports. I'm Reagan.
I'm Jason.
Bye.
Bye, guys.